Hello. Can you hear me? Woohoo! So, hello everyone. If there's any seats, probably over there. Is there seats over there? Someone raise their hands if there's seats. There's 2 seats here in the front. Everyone, please come back. Come in here. We're about to begin. And we're also live on YouTube. So hello everyone who's watching from home. Nice to see you, well, even though I don't see you. Okay, so everyone, by the way, you should have a link. If you registered for this event, I sent an email right now. If your friends at home could not make it, there's a link in your email for the YouTube channel. So you can forward it and maybe share it with people that you're right here. But I want to start, so let's get, okay. I don't have a clicker for this. Oh, is there? Okay, here it is. Okay, so nice to meet you. My name is Avi. I'm the founder of UX Salon. And let's... Top? The big one? There's a UX problem here. Anyone can...
Nope.
To turn it on with the... So, nice to meet you. Woo! Maybe you can change the slide. I will point to you. Okay, here we go. One back. So anyone here ever been before to UX Salon event? Many hands. Okay, that's great. That's cool. So thanks for coming again. Basically, a salon, if you didn't know, it's the word salon means a living room. In the old times, people used to come to living rooms to entertain themselves, to learn from each other, and to create a discussion. So this is really what the UX Salon is about, is to create a discussion. And hopefully, if we have time, we will have a discussion about each conversation, each topic. The speakers will come up, and then we will have some time to discuss. And if you have questions, if you want to come up on stage, if you have a comment, if you have your own perspective, you're welcome to share it. So this is what UX Salon is about. Okay, now I heard. Okay, no, next. Back. Hi, okay, so now we are at Vinted, and I really want to thank Vinted for hosting us. So really, I'm going to put my microphone down. It's such a beautiful thing. I mean, all the food and the beers, and it's so nice. Thank you, really. This is Jonas, by the way. He's leading UX here. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, Jonas.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you for inviting us. Thank you for sharing this moment with us.
A huge round of applause for Avi and Nade, who made all of this happen.
Yeah, where is she? So, I always ask you, what's new in Vinted? What are you guys working on these days, UX-wise?
UX, same ambitious mission that we have of making secondhand first choice worldwide. That's always the same. It's a bold mission. And what we're doing now, we're essentially building on top of the success we already seen in the secondhand fashion space. And that mission requires us to expand to any imaginable product and to expand globally. So what we're doing, we're launching new categories like electronics, we're launching books, we're launching new markets. What we're doing, what else are we doing? We're spinning out new businesses like Vinted Pay, Vinted Ship, all of that to make our users as successful as it can be, and in parallel with every iteration making Vinted work better for everyone who uses it. So, in a nutshell, that's what we're doing. It's quite a transformation that we're continuously pursuing. And yeah, naturally, we need future-minded designers, researchers, UX writers.
So you guys are looking to hire?
Always, yes. So don't be a stranger.
So that's the guy to talk to if you're looking for work. By the way, is there like new challenges selling books or other markets? Like than clothes? What is the new, can you share, like what is the challenges?
Yeah, a bunch of challenges. So next to, all right, so we're known to be a fashion marketplace, and we're tailored. We have that experience tailored for fashion. So just imagine if you're trying to sell a book, it's generally a different object. So for example, the books come, you can have a bunch of the same book, and it's still a great piece. So you have, for example, you have different attributes for a different category to make it browsable. And then you have books sitting next to fashion items. How do you present it in the clearest, simplest way? And the list goes on and on and on and on and on.
So there's a lot of work. Okay, interesting. Thank you very much, Jonas.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so since we are talking about hiring, because you come here also hopefully to learn, but also to mingle, and also maybe to find your next opportunity, I want to take maybe one or two, three people who are looking to hire. Is there people who are looking to hire? Maybe this guy? This guy, okay. Come up for a second. Very quickly, 20 seconds. What are you guys looking for? This is a guy from Avoko.
Hey, everybody. How's everybody doing? So we are looking for a designer who will be working with our checkout and also maybe our app and also maybe our admin. So there's a lot of challenges in Avoko. Avoko is the next Vinted. So hop on until it's, how it is. So basically I will be like Jonas, maybe one day. But yeah, so we have a lot of opportunities here. So please go on to our website and look out for our positions of the UX design and PMs as well. Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
Okay, thank you, Dima. Anyone else? One more. Over there, maybe. Where is it? Over there. Okay, so two of you. Okay, first you. Maybe you can shout or you can come here, yeah. So if you guys want to, again, talk to Jonas or Dima or just find them after, stay, and then maybe they can talk to you.
Yeah. Thanks. Yep, hi guys. So I'm Mikolas from BeBright. They're one of the first and fastest growing educational startups here in Lithuania. We're creating a product called Licėjus. It's used in schools. It's for math. It's a platform that sees students' knowledge gaps. Let's put it this way. So we're looking for designers, obviously. We want to take our product to the next step. And so anyone who's interested in working on an educational product, come to me after the talks or between them, and we'll have a chat. So, yeah, thanks.
Very much. And the next one over there, please come up. Oh, a lot of people know you. Okay. One more, and we will continue. Hello.
Hello. Long time no see. Okay, hi. I'm Paulius. We're from Hostinger, just down the street. It's really close from here, so if you live nearby. And we're looking for a couple of designers, one for product, one for websites, so a visual designer and a product-savvy designer. We're also for the lookout for PMs, so if you're into that, also come find me. Yeah, basically check out either our career page or hunt me down whenever. Happy to talk. Okay. Thanks.
So look for him at the end. Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Let's see if this will work now. It's next. No? Okay, so this is the after party. Anyone participated in today's event, like in the morning? A few hands. Okay, thanks for coming. I mean, this is the after party. I mean, I don't know why this slide is here. Okay, but next. We had an event today, and it was really cool. And tomorrow we have 3 more workshops. So I'm really looking forward to that. Next slide. I'm just trying to. Okay, so today's talks. If you wondered, first of all, Jonas, and then Rebecca, and then our mystery speaker, if you wondered who it is going to be Pablo. I hope, is he here? No, not yet? I will send him a message to come soon. Hopefully, it's not going to be that mysterious. He's going to show up. So these are the speakers, and I'm really grateful for them to prepare these presentations and to show up for us. Next, let's see. If you stay till the end, this is some of the fun parts of this event, is that we're going to do some networking. It's important once you come here, not just to learn, but also to meet new people. And it's up to you to meet at least 2 new people today, because that's how we grow and develop as professionals. And we're going to have circles where people meet and enjoy and talk to each other and create conversations and exchange LinkedIn profiles. So, next slide, I think that would be the last one maybe. Facebook. Follow me, follow UX Salon on Instagram if you want to know more events and more things like that. If you take photos today, share them with the tag, and then I will reshare it on Instagram, Facebook, UX Vilnius. No facts. And yes, that's it. Our first guest is from Ovoko, Jonas. Take the stage. So this one is not working. Maybe we should, wait a minute, let's troubleshoot.
Mic check. So many of you. It works? Hey, my name is Jonas, or Jonas for Lithuanians. So today I'm going to try to talk about one of the most adventurous 10 months of my life as a startup, as a product manager, as a coder, designer, whatever. And I'm going to try to convey what we learned in really untraditional ways of doing user research by actually literally eating our dog food, and in our cases, basically drinking used oil from cars. So Ovoko in a nutshell, we get used car parts from our suppliers, which are famously known as Schrots. Really interesting people. Then we sell them on our marketplace and do all the shipping. And I work with the most fun people, Schroting. And in my first 5 months at Ovoko, I essentially did all the product manager things. Everything that product manager is supposed to do, you go to any course, any talk, etc. They tell you everything, what you need to do. I did that. And I'm going to try to compare that with my last 5 months. So first months of a new PM. Obviously, you need to talk with your users, which is really hard in our case. You need to go to some remote places where people we don't expect you to go to them. They actually ask, like, why are you here? Why do you want to ask me questions, all these stupid questions about, hey, what is your goal, using this tool? And yeah, so it's really tough. And of course, you get to know your product, understand your metrics, all the data, yada, yada, and discover and deliver, and then just rinse and repeat that all over again. And that's basically what any book about product management, design, engineering is going to tell you. Just do this. And after those 5 months, I was on that Mount Stupid where I actually could tell everyone, hey, I know how a scrapyard works. I literally know that. I was convinced that I know that. And what does that exactly mean? That if I was put in the same conditions as like a scrapyard owner, I could essentially do all the same tasks as the scrapyard owner is doing, which was, I couldn't be further from further from the truth. So the last 5 months, we opened a scrapyard in Vilnius, literally, in Minsk Plentas. And obviously, as like a proper product organization, we just had a meeting. There's a whiteboard, there's a golf, there's some chairs, so yeah, we just had a meeting. But essentially, the reason why we wanted to open it up was that we wanted to build a golden standard, so a place where we could take our suppliers to and tell them, this is how you are supposed to do this thing, because the current way of working is really not good, and actually invest into the context. So I'm going to try to cover how we are investing into the context and how that helped. And we got, literally, like the day we opened it, we got a side quest. Buy a car, dismantle it, digitize and warehouse all the parts, and yeah, 180 days, anything that you make in that period, it's up for your team to spend on whatever. Team building, yada, yada. And that happened on May 13th this year, so basically we are past that 180-day period. And so how do you buy a car for dismantling? Anybody did that in their past? Yeah? So how? Yeah. So my expectations coming into this challenge was that, hey, I'm going to scour through the data. I'm going to check all the data that we have around our partners, their cars, yada, yada. Check every car listing carefully, inspect it, and negotiate it and buy it. Then 2 weeks passed, and I literally didn't move a step because you're like, so what do I do? Like, where do I start? And then after 2 weeks, I came to our CEO and told him, hey, I have no idea how to do this thing. Can you teach me? And this is like the actual reality. We just opened up like a listing portal. In Lithuania, it's Autoplius. And we just like found the, like, in the first page, the third listing, and we just like checked how much certain parts that we know that we're gonna sell are going on our marketplace. And we bought this thing. Nice car with some scratches. And we actually paid 2,900 euros for it, plus VAT, plus shipping, plus other expenses. And this is our product team. Essentially, our head of architecture, backend engineers, product designers, and yeah, me were actually dismantling it. Our HR likes to share this photo everywhere. We have other photos where if we showed them, they would not allow us to do it again because sometimes you are under that car and it can fall off. So we dismantled that car, and how do you start selling? Like, what the hell are you supposed to do? So first of all, you have to clean all these things because you are essentially selling photos. And we thought that during those 2 days where we dismantled the car, we're going to be able to digitize all the parts. And that's like me, Irmantas, and Ushina. Our job, literally, is to work on tools that help our suppliers digitize those parts. It's literally our job that we do every single day. And we were not able to do that with a lot of people in 2 days. We were not able to use our tool in scrapyard conditions and actually do it. And then you take all those parts into the van, and then you bring it to your warehouse. And I remember the moment that I was standing in front of that pile of garbage, and I literally had no idea what I'm supposed to do. Literally. And that was one of the most humbling moments. Like, over the last 5 months, you literally have no idea what you are supposed to do with these parts. And my job is to teach people what they are supposed to do. And we made our first sale. Cash. Not through Marketplace. Somebody called us and wanted to buy that hood cover because it was eaten. His previous one was eaten by rats. That's what happens with all cars. And yeah, we sold it for cash. And then we went into some deep, valuable items. We sold an engine to Finland. And when you sell an engine, there are some really specific shipping instructions, especially if it's going literally overseas, because you have to cross little part of Baltic Sea. And we packed it into this monstrosity. The most funny thing was that three people spent 2 hours arguing with each other how we are supposed to pack this thing. And then our CEO noticed this. I have a video, I am not able to share it. He told us, hey, go to this seller and he's gonna show you how to do it in 10 minutes. He literally spent 2 minutes packing an engine, literally similar engine to this one, in 2 minutes. We spent 2 hours creating this monstrosity. That, thank God, was not returned. And so nobody would buy this thing. We thought we would not be able to sell those parts. And we actually made a profit in 180 days, 2,400 euros. I literally want to open up my own scrapyard because it's so profitable. And the actual impact. So we learned a bunch of things actually doing it. And one of the most important things was that we created a new quality bar. So recently we created a tool that during the digitization process, you sometimes have no idea what part you are holding in your hands. And we created a tool that helps any person just take the app, take a photo of a barcode, and you know what it is, how much you can sell it for, and yeah, just create the part, sellable part on our marketplace. Customers love it. Whenever we show it to some customers, we are like, give it to me now. And our answer was no. Because we know all these steps that are happening after that, that if the customers would experience them, they would just throw that up. Like they would delete it immediately. And yeah, we essentially decided not to release it. Previously, our teams would create like a bunch of tools, and they would just release garbage, literal garbage that scrapyards would say, yeah, this is shit. They have like some even more nicer words. And we have gained a shared context with our customers. So recently, a month ago, I visited this scrapyard in Poland, in Radom region. Really great guy, Czeslaw, Czeska. And he doesn't speak a word in English, and I don't speak a word in Polish, apart from like some really famous Polish words. And that language barrier did not prevent us from like properly communicating through, of course, our translators, etc. But the way how we were able like to essentially understand each other, and he told me like the specific thing, hey, you need to fix this, and I'm going to be able to add 1 million parts to Avoko. Yeah. I came back, told my team, we only had one meeting instead of like 20, 30 meetings, like discussing this specific thing, and we're able to deliver like, yeah, super valuable things. But we called Czeska yesterday, and he was like, yeah, this is awesome. Please do it more. And while we were digitizing that Audi, we got another side quest. A truck full of parts. And we literally thought that it's garbage. They just delivered us several $1,000 euros worth of garbage. And surely nobody would buy this. Who would, in their right mind, buy all this garbage? Yeah, we just sold a bunch of bumpers recently. Many bumpers. And during that process, we realized that our product architecture actually does not support half the sellers. We have the sellers that are using our platform, are creating go-arounds, and we would have, and our CEO was trying to explain this to us for 2 years, to the whole team, but hey, the product that you're creating is not that great and it does not support like half of our customers. We literally understood that when we just saw that truck. We were like, yeah, we have no way to digitize those parts. There's no way to easily digitize those parts. And that's probably the most important learning when it comes to like context versus communication. That Avoko started as our CEO literally had his own scrapyard, and he just started like creating software to improve his things. And then we went through this period where we just introduced a bunch of communication tools, team members, etc. So it would actually help us work when all we needed to do is actually just to sell parts. Because right now we just don't need communication tools. We just like understand each other. And we decided to scale that approach. So we again bought a car with some scratches. Already made a profit on it in like 5 weeks. And then we bought another car with some scratches. If you can see here, there's also a wood stuck in the engine. And we dismantled it on Thursday, and we found that there's another piece of wood in the door. Yeah, and some really interesting things in the trunk. But yeah, so this approach actually helps us to like actually eating our own dog food, experiencing the same things as our customers experience, actually helps us to, yeah, build better things, build better products, connect with customers, and yeah, create some cool stuff that customers love and we don't allow them to use. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. That was very interesting, very short. Any questions from the audience? Okay, here we go, over there. Should they come here? Yeah, come.
Hello.
Hi.
So I have a couple of questions. So the first one, do you use user personas on your product?
No, but to some extent.
Because I wanted to ask, do you have a persona called Perecupas?
Yes.
That's nice. And the second question is about the...
Are you selling something?
No. The second question is more serious one. So I know that there is a part of more of a shady business in scrapyards. So how you are dealing with basically stolen parts?
We call them borrowed parts. They just forgot to return them. Yeah, we are working, we know that this is a shady business, but we are working with all the institutions, and we ban sellers from using our platform if we discover that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else? Okay, here we go.
Thank you for the funny stories. I was wondering if you have algorithms to determine the quality of the used parts, which is a huge problem sometimes for customers of Schrotti who are looking for exotic tubes from 20 years before and hope that they work afterwards.
Yeah, we have quality grading systems. We are testing one right now. We have an old one, which is basically has really not clear grading system, but yeah, essentially we are trying to come up with one right now because it's a big problem for us. Our return rate is not very high compared to other marketplaces, but at the same time, we know that it's a problem that we need to solve. There is a bigger problem there where each and every part category has to have that grading, which, yeah, we are still trying to think of like better solution. But the recent quality grading system that we created, we actually tested ourselves by digitizing parts, and yeah, we decided that it's not that good. So still up for improvement.
I'm curious if anyone else has similar stories from their own company, maybe that they were doing something like that similar, because it seems like a very unique case study. Maybe anyone else can tell a story, or maybe more questions. One question here. Yes, you.
I've got a question.
Okay.
I love the story where you said we built this thing, we tested it, users loved it, we will not release it. I just wondered if you could explain what it was, specifically about the dog fooding, that made you realize, oh no, they're telling us they like it, but it's not right.
Repeat the question.
Yeah, so the question was what was actual decision why we did not release the product that our customers loved and asked us to give it to them. So the app actually, when you first use it, you are amazed how great it is. But the actual use case that we are trying to achieve is that you are able to scan the code and sell it immediately. And there's the whole other digitization process that can follow later. So the digitization process is great, but if users would use it, the next step would be to add more photos, and that is done through our web application, which basically slaps you in the face. So we don't want to release it until we fix this, but also the scan and sell part needs to be reworked so we can essentially amaze the user that, just imagine, we go to a new partner, we take out like 100 parts, and they are able to immediately sell those parts on the spot while we are onboarding them. And since our users, they only think about the money, literally. They won't lift a finger if it doesn't pay like $100. So we want to like show them that immediate value.
Okay, we have a question from here. Yeah, that's good. Yeah? Okay.
All right. My question is, when you sell the parts, it adds up the cost, like the price you get by selling it adds up, and it's bigger than the amount you buy the car for? Is that the key insight of your business?
Yeah, the main thing in the scrapper business is the amount of time it takes to you to break even.
Yeah.
So you can reinvest the money again into buying more cars. And the faster you achieve that, the more parts you can have in the future, and also like all that rest of the stock that you are still like keeping in your warehouse is still going to sell eventually. So at some point, yeah, you're just going to become a millionaire.
All right.
Okay, thank you. It was great, thank you. Okay, coming up next, Rebecca, where are you? That's it? Rebecca? Oh, here we go. Rebecca is all the way here from Berlin. Can you believe it? She came all the way from Berlin, so I'm great. Thank you for coming. And the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Oh, thank you. I need that. Great. Yeah, I'll just get started then. So I'm going to take you through a project my team and I recently worked on and are still continuing to work on, an experimentation approach to the legacy Vinted profile. Small steps, big vision. Thank you to ChatGPT for that catchy title. Yeah, I'll go over a bit of context on the project so you can understand what we're working on at Vinted and where it came from. I'll talk about our vision the team is working towards, and also our experimentation plan, how we're going to get there. And starting with the context, I will introduce myself. So if you haven't detected already, I am from the States, from my accent, maybe it's clear, but I am based in Berlin. I've been there for about 8 years. I've been designing for about 10 years, and with Vinted for 2.5 years. And in that 2.5 years, I've learned Labas, Isvikate, Skanovs, and Achu. That's where it ends. So let's dive in. Here is the Vinted profile screen. This is the 5th tab of our app, as you can see down here. Maybe show of hands, who is using the app? Who's using Vinted to buy or sell? Who knows the screen? A few hands, okay. So, a lot of hands. So at one point in our journey and some user research on this screen, we heard this user quote. It feels like they didn't know where to put these things, and they just dropped everything there with no organization. Wow, ouch. That kind of hurt. And I feel like we've all been there as designers, as PMs, as researchers. We get a kind of a user quote, we get some feedback that really hits home. And this user was really, really spot on. This page has no organization. It really has no purpose. And so we started thinking about where do these problems come from? Why is this the case? And let's look at this profile page and kind of where it fits in the Vinted app and where those problems came from. So as you can see on the right, my right, your left, we have our home page. And as I mentioned, this profile page is the fifth tab in our main navigation hierarchy, so you can reach it from any of the bottom navs there. And then the first entry point on top of the profile screen is to our wardrobe, where our sellers and users who have uploaded things can kind of see where their items, we call them listings, where they live. And yeah, with these screens, we started to see some problems. So first of all, we had a legacy problem. The screen hadn't been touched since 2018. It was really just falling through the cracks as Vinted scaled. And with that legacy, with that lack of attention, we really lacked ownership. So the screen here, this profile screen, had no single owner. And with no single owner, instead, it had owners for each of these entry points. So as I dove into this project, lots of stakeholders to manage. And again, with no ownership, that means no strategy. We saw the user problem, as you just heard from that first quote. The information architecture, the organization, is just pretty bad here. We're not serving our users. And lastly, we had a business problem. So on the screen behind me here, this is our wardrobe. And as you can see here by this bottom dotted line I've put kind of beneath the fold, we're seeing kind of half of 2 different items that you as a seller have uploaded to Vinted. And for a page called the wardrobe, feels a bit counterintuitive. And on top of that, we're a business, so the teams and domain that I work on, we have OKRs. And our OKRs, our objectives, are around the number of items that sellers are uploading and the number of users that become sellers. So again, feeling quite counterintuitive to those business goals as well. And this made us kind of realize we have a really big missed opportunity here for both business needs and user needs that we could be addressing. So it made us stop and think, how can we address those? And we also thought that we needed a vision. We needed a vision to guide us. We needed an inspiring and guiding North Star that would align the team and the stakeholders on the purpose and the future of the product. So, how did we get there? We took a few initial steps. We started with some desk research. We looked at what research we already had at Vinted from past user interviews and surveys. We did a competitor analysis. We did card sorting. We recruited some users and worked them through a card sorting process to understand their mental model of the current information architecture of the app. We worked with data tracking to understand real user behavior. What entry points, what are they actually using on this massive list, this massive profile that is our 5th screen of the app. We also, of course, factored in the business needs that I've previously mentioned around these objectives, around increasing the number of users and the listings. And lastly, we ran user interviews on 3 high-fidelity prototypes. And what did we learn from all of these steps? From the desk research, we saw some old quotes. I view my wardrobe every time I open the app. It tends to be just to check. From the user behavior, the data tracking, we saw that 54% of users who visited that profile page actually went to their wardrobe. And that's quite a long list, so we're already seeing half of those users are going to 1 entry point, with only about 3 others that were frequently visited. So of 16 entry points, more than half are going unused. So it was just really wasted real estate. And lastly, from those user interviews, we heard users saying things like, I don't look so often at these profile elements. The wardrobe is a bit hidden compared to the use I have of it. And whatever you go with is going to be better than what is currently. So some of these insights, these quotes, really gave us the affirmation that we were going in the right direction. We were getting insights to kind of drive our next steps, and really were encouraged to keep going. So next, let's look at the vision. What have we created with those insights? As you see on your left, we have the beautiful profile page that I love so much, and how it brings us, again, with that top entry point, to our wardrobe. And what we want to do with the vision here, you see on this side, one of the major switches we'll bring for the vision is swapping the wardrobe and the profile. So that means reducing 1 click for the users. They will no longer have to click through the profile list to get to the screen that has their listings, that has the items that they have uploaded. And with that switch, we bring more focus on listings and the management for the sellers. So what does a vision need? How are we getting there? A vision needs experimentation, validation, and refinement to ensure that it aligns with needs and brings impact. So we're not going to just jump from the status quo to the vision. What do we need to do in between? That experimentation needs small steps in order to isolate and measure the impact. So again, we're not going to go from status quo to vision in 1 experiment. We're going to break it down into small steps so we can measure them. And let's look at those steps. We broke it down into a 4-step approach. So we were defining our hypotheses, breaking the vision into small hypotheses about what the users needed. We designed experiments, small-scale A/B tests to validate those hypotheses. We're measuring results, so we're setting key metrics to understand how well the vision is aligning for users. And lastly, we're learning and iterating. So we're using the data gathered and collected from these experiments to potentially pivot on the profile. So again, it's a guiding star. It's not a final destination. All right, so again, we look. On the one side, we have our current status quo, the Vinted wardrobe, and on the right, our vision. What's happening in between? How are we getting there? So what you might have noticed in the app, we have two relatively new features that we've brought to the wardrobe. These two features are the seller badges and the seller insights. So the badges is a feature where we're rewarding sellers for their good behavior, such as frequently uploading items, and the seller insights feature where we're showing users their potential earnings from the current value of the items in their wardrobe and their earnings to date. So how much money they've earned in their kind of overall Vinted lifespan. Has anyone noticed these features? Oh, a few hands. Okay, it's a great feature. Take a look at it. See how much money you've earned or you could earn. But yeah, so both of these features, we've seen from the tests, from the experiments, that they've really motivated users. We're seeing an increase in users becoming listers, so uploading items, and an increase in the number of items that these users are uploading. So we're seeing here a match in our business needs, these OKRs I've mentioned, in addition to the user needs. So we've scaled both of these tests as a first step towards that vision. Next, we condensed the entry point for the seller insights. So as you saw on the previous screen, we had those numbers there, the potential value you could earn, the money you've already earned, and that was an entry point that leads you to a dedicated page with this information. And we thought, let's condense that entry point. It'll still bring you to those numbers, but again, this goal of bringing the listings back above the fold and condensing the top information. So this is our next step, kind of moving towards the vision. But what we saw from this is that this didn't match, the results didn't really match our hypothesis. The listings after this test, during this test, actually decreased. So we saw less users uploading items, less items being uploaded. And with that learning, we have since revisited from the vision the entry point for this feature. So that means we're going to be iterating on the vision. The vision is not set in stone. We're going to be changing that entry point as it was from before in the vision. Next, the swap that I mentioned previously between the wardrobe and profile, we're going to bring that to life. And again, this means when the user clicks on the 5th tab of their app, the profile, it will bring them directly to their wardrobe, directly to the screen where they see their listings. And in addition to that swap, we've brought in 3 of the entry points from this long list on the profile, being orders, favorites, and balance, the 3 highest used entry points from the profile, so as to not increase their funnel and cause harm to those features. After that, we would like to add edit functionality to the wardrobe level. Currently, it's 4 clicks away. You have to click from profile to wardrobe to your item to the triple dots to the bottom drawer. It's a very long process. And so here, we want to bring this to the wardrobe, really reacting from what we heard from some of those previous quotes saying, I go to my wardrobe, I just check it out, really see and test that hypothesis. Are users wanting to engage with their items more frequently? Do they want to be adding better photos, increasing the description, maybe doing a discount? And second, does that actually improve the item quality and therefore increase the sell-through rate? Are there user needs here and are there business needs? After that, we'll be adding a new avatar up in the top left corner in addition to a new badges entry point. And this, again, is already another deviation from the vision. So in that very first test I showed you, where I said we've brought in the badges to the wardrobe and have scaled it, when we ran that, when we made the vision, we hadn't ran that test yet. So we didn't have those insights. we didn't know what a success badges would be. So badges was not really a main focus in the vision. And so here we are again, pivoting on the vision, taking insights from users, taking insights from these experiments, and guiding and changing our vision. Next, we will add a list view of the items instead of the grid view, coming back to, again, bringing more items above the fold, more focus to listings and engagement on the wardrobe level. And last but not least, we come to the vision. We'll be adding a UI refresh to this page now that we've gone through all of these steps, updated it, given it a refresh. And here I hope you can see how all of these steps work towards the vision. We have a flexible and measurable way to bring user insights to reality. So I hope, once we bring this vision to life, rather than hearing, it feels like they didn't know where to put these things, and they just dropped everything there with no organization. Instead, maybe we hear something more like, it feels like they knew exactly where to put things for me, and they added everything with purpose. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very insightful. Anyone with questions, comments? Anyone facing the same problems? Yes. Okay, here you go.
Hello. Thank you for the nice presentation. First of all, I like the new cards in the vision. I want to know how much time did it take to translate the design from the first iteration to the vision? This is the first question.
I assume there's a follow-up question then. That's a good question. So the profile project, as we've been working on it, has actually taken some time. So we started working on it a while back with some of those insights and quotes. And then we shifted focus a bit to the badges and the seller insights, as I showed. And then we kind of realized, OK, we're putting these badges and these seller insights on the wardrobe page, yet we don't have that profile vision finalized. So we paused there and reshifted to focus back on the profile. So to be honest, maybe even a year from start to now. And we're still in the experimentation process. We've only done maybe two or three of those experiments I've showed. So we're still running tests now. We're still getting insights from users and working towards it.
And thank you so much.
Yeah.
So the second question is, how often do you get user insights? Like, is it quarterly? Is it monthly? And what are the main tools that is used for that? Like,
the frequency of our user research. Sometimes it depends, but we do have a full research team that I'm very thankful for, if any of them are in the audience. And so, yeah, we're very, very frequently running, sending out surveys, running user interviews, bringing them in for the card sorting that I mentioned. So, yeah, once a month, let's say, on average. And then the tools that we use, again, we have a full research team, so we're using, there's a tool called Maze, I believe, just things like user interviews, really sitting down, usability testing. Or maybe do you mean more like, like literal applications we use, or? Yeah, so things like Maze, surveys, yeah, usability testing, etc. Yeah.
Anyone else? More? Okay, wait a minute. Come. Okay, can you? But maybe raise your voice. Just.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a question regarding listings, right? So in a wardrobe, right, you're planning to make the listings appear as like a list card that's like important information. But there was a research done on like inclusive design for people who have like ADHD and such things. Some people find it easier to preview items in a gallery format. Are you planning to include like a toggle button for inclusive design, or it's like just one that vision you have?
Maybe you can repeat the question.
Yes. So the question was on inclusive design, and that some research has shown that I think like a grid view has been more accessible for some users rather than the list view. Did I summarize that? Yeah, generally correct. Yeah, I think inclusive design is very, very important, very near to my heart. So that is not some research that I've been familiar with, but it is a very good point to look into that and make sure that it's inclusive for all types of users. And when it comes to wardrobe management, we'd also like to expand that capability. So that could be something, like you said, customizing for the seller if they can view it as a list or a grid or smaller thumbnails or bigger thumbnails, maybe rearrange the items. So there's a lot of potential. And all the steps I just showed there weren't all of the experiments, just some of the key ones. So we do have, the wardrobe page, we could experiment on it forever to try to really make it better for the sellers. But thank you for that insight, and I will look into that.
Okay, one more last question over there. Yes, you?
Thanks for the presentation. I just wanted to ask you, also mentioned some tools. I'm wondering what kind of tool are you using for A/B testing at Vinted? And I have another question.
Yeah, for A/B testing, well, our structure, we work in we call it the EPDA, so our core team is a product manager, a designer, an engineering manager, and a decision scientist or a data scientist. And that data scientist is really owning that process for the A/B testing. So unfortunately, I'm not super, I don't know very much exactly the tools that we're using. I don't know if someone else here from Vinted does. But yeah, we have a dedicated person who sets up all the A/B tests, and we work together to align on the hypotheses and make all of our our goal metrics and the guardrail metrics, et cetera. But I don't know exactly the tool, I'm sorry.
That's fine. And you already almost answered the question because I was wondering who's responsible for A/B testing and so on. But I'm also curious to know what's your role in raising the hypothesis for all the experiments that you run. Like, are you just there as a supportive person, or are you the one raising these?
It's more collaborative. I wouldn't say I'm the one defining the hypotheses, but between our decision scientists, between the analysts, and also the PM and design, very collaborative to think about, okay, what do we think, what value do we think this is bringing to the user? And with that value, what metric do we think that we're going to move? And then making supporting metrics and seeing how is everything going to go together. Talking with other teams, could our feature harm your feature? Are there guardrail metrics we need to put in place? At the end of the day, the decision scientist is finalizing them, but very collaborative in terms of how we create them together.
Okay, thank you very much, Rebecca. Thank you. Okay. So first of all, there's a few chairs here. If you guys if you are tired of standing, I see there's a few chairs, 5 or 6 chairs here. So you're welcome to make your way here. We promised a mystery speaker today. Guess what? Who is it going to be? Maybe someone from the audience wants to speak? No one? Maybe it's you, Pablo? Oh, yeah. It's you? Yeah. Okay. I cannot believe it. It's such a mystery. Say hey, everyone. Okay, so you want to, let's find a table or a chair. Here is it, this chair. Okay. Once I had a dream to, Jonas, where are you? To make a dummy presentation and then have people come on stage and try to solve it, try to speak to it as a mystery talk. Maybe we can do that one day. Not today. You would, you. No, it's called PowerPoint karaoke. Oh yeah, PowerPoint karaoke, yes. And how does it work? You get a random PowerPoint that they downloaded from somewhere. Oh, really? Random power? Okay, we download a PowerPoint from somewhere, and then we just have someone go for it. It's a good idea. It's an interesting idea. Let's try it next time. Okay. Okay, the floor is yours.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Okay, hey, hi. Okay, okay, that's not what I wanted to show. Hold on, give me 1 second. Let's put this place and let's not do this thing. Let's do it so you take the other one and not the same one. Is that possible over there? So, do you get the other screen and not just a mirror? You're supposed to see just some trees. Yeah, computers, yeah, boy. You see just the slides. Okay. Oh, you know what? Stop mirroring. I think I was mirroring. I'm sorry. That was me. That was my fault. Let's give it up for the tech people. We're doing their best. I came unprepared, and they were asking me to do something, and I was like, no, I want to do it with Keynote. I'm not going to use Google Slides. And they still did it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being so patient with me. They're awesome. And so, okay, so hello and thank you. I want to introduce you to a story. And honestly, man, this thing, let me just, and, oh man, okay. Well, I guess I'm going to do it like that. There you go. So, thank you. I'm going to share a story. And it's going to be a very cheesy and corny story, but there's a meaning behind. Hopefully you get it. I think I'm understanding that this is the worst place to do cheesy, corny things. Like you're hard. You're just like you're a tough audience. So I'm just going to take a swing at this, and hopefully it connects with you. And if not, you can just like boo me. It's okay. I can take it. So. Are you ready for this very corny story? Yeah? Okay. So, welcome to the creative adventure of Morgan, Dreamweaver. Meet Morgan, the hero of this story. Morgan is a burrito cook with a hidden talent for creating unique, dope burritos. For example, the flying burrito. Another one, the robo burrito, or roburrito, I don't know. But it's a robot that is also a burrito. Morgan experiments, she doodles, she iterates, she does it all for finding different types of burritos for people to enjoy. But Morgan's boss wants normal, predictable burritos. He's not very happy with Morgan's creativity. No one wants rainbow burritos, Morgan. You're not an artist, you're just a cook. So that has led Morgan to accept this reality. She has had to settle with this. I guess I'm just a cook. Maybe I'm not an artist. But one day, Morgan receives a mysterious note, a letter calling her to save the land of Creativia. Morgan doubts herself, wondering how a simple burrito cook like herself can save Creativia. I'm just a burrito cook. How am I supposed to save the land? But then someone appears and kapow! An old and wise artist who recognizes Morgan's creativity urges her to accept the call. You can do it, Morgan. I see a hidden creative power in you. I am Pedro. I was once a chef, and I found my artistic calling. But I'm old, and my magic spatula works no more. Also, I got a bit too big from eating too many tacos and enchiladas, so I cannot do it anymore. But Morgan, Creativia is in grave danger. The colors are fading. The music has gone. And the imagination wells are drying up. If we don't act, Creativia will become a lifeless void, ruled by the overlord of dullness. But the overlord wasn't always this way. He once sought to bring order to chaos, but he took it too far. Now he's choking the life out of Creativia. But why me? Morgan says, surely someone else. You're the only one who can defeat the overlord because you see the world differently. Your burritos, colorful, unexpected, full of joy. They're more than food, they're art. You must embark on a journey through Creativia and face the challenges ahead. So scribbles will guide you when you feel lost. Oh yeah, that's a robot that just appears out of nowhere. I just wanted to add like a sidekick. I didn't find a script on Scribbles. You're gonna find, so just Scribbles is just there. But he's cool. Scribbles will guide you when you feel lost. With newfound courage, Morgan embarks on the adventure to save Creativia. You go, girl, say Pedro the wizard. Together, Morgan and Scribbles step into the magical land of Creativia, and oh my God, forests, lakes, deserts, caves await them. Then Morgan and Scribbles encounter their first enemy, the block beast, a creature that feeds on creative energy, growing stronger with every doubt and hesitation. The block beast mocks Morgan, feeding on her fear and self-doubt. Ha ha, you're so small. But then Morgan remembers her secret super weapon. Thinking quickly, Morgan creates her famous chimichanga of inspiration. A dish so bold, so spicy, that it melts the block beast's heart. Morgan then discovers that the block beast was actually kind of cool. He was once a guide in helping artists find inspiration. But he lost his purpose and grew bitter. I used to be a rock for others. So Morgan helps the block beast rediscover his purpose and becomes an ally full of inspiration. That's the power of chimichangas. But then their journey leads them to a dark place, to the forest of self-doubt, filled with whispers of uncertainty. The forest whispers every doubt Morgan had ever felt. Your burritos are silly. No one really likes your ideas. So Morgan thinks quickly and introduces her friend, the jalapeno, a veggie full of life and heat, ready to give her courage. So she talks to them and asks them questions. And they're kind of cool too. The trees are like, hey, yeah, so I don't know. We just are like this way. We just found it was fun. And they reveal their secret. This is just to challenge artists like herself to overcome their doubts, not to destroy them. Now, with the newfound power of courage and creativity, Morgan and Scribbles face new challenges, but they're growing stronger and more confident. Next, they face the imposter serpent. Oh no! It's a creature that casts doubt on others' abilities. Shh, you sucks. But Morgan thinks quick, and she prepares a delicious taco for the serpent, casting doubt on the serpent's own doubts. The serpent reveals her purpose. I squeeze, I stretch. I'm here to remind artists that growth and learning never end. With this new understanding, Morgan and Scribbles venture into the vulnerability caverns. That's where I feel right now. The caverns test Morgan's courage, amplifying her fear of failure and rejection. It's pretty dark, but Scribbles whispers, you're not alone. Inside, they confront the judgment monster, a beast that paralyzes creators with anxiety. And Morgan faces a crushing defeat, feeling unworthy and questioning if she truly is the chosen one. As a result, Creativia becomes even more dull, predictable, lifeless. But then Pedro the Wizard appears and Scribbles find Morgan paralyzed. And they're like, come on, dude. Is this the end? Come on, you can do it. Look, this is just a robot. The judgment monster was just a little robot controlled by a fearful, small, tiny creature inside that was hidden because it was also scared of being judged himself. So Morgan regains her strength and determined to save the world of Creativia, rededicates herself to the mission. Go, Morgan. Pedro reminds her of the challenges she's overcome. Look at all you've done, the fears you have conquered, and how much you have grown to be a true hero. With her friends by her side, Morgan realizes she's not alone. Together, they head toward the final battle with hope and courage. Morgan and Scribbles face the dullness overlord, the one responsible for draining all the creativity from Creativia. Morgan uses her one superpower: art, creativity, imagination. And she creates a burrito so delicious it stops the overlord in its tracks. Oh my God, this is so good, dude. The overlord munches on the burrito and is delighted by its colors and beauty, his rigid demeanor melting away. The overlord admits it wanted the order, but went too far. I just killed creativity, I guess. I didn't mean it. I don't know. I was just looking for order. I was looking at my Trello boards. I was looking at my notes. And joy in his quest for perfection made this. But now, With her new creative superpowers, Morgan changes the overlord and restores the balance to Creativia, which blossoms into a land filled with color, imagination, and life. You cannot see it, but there's a lot of color there. I just like do it in black and white, but it's there. Okay, imagine it. You have imagination too. So Morgan realizes that creativity isn't about perfection. It's about bringing life and joy to the world, no matter how small the act. Grateful for her heroism, the creatures of Creativia celebrate their triumph, declaring her a true creator. And back in the ordinary world, Morgan embraces her creative abilities, making delicious, delicious burritos. And she inspires others to embrace their creativity. Maybe she's inspiring you to be vibrant and colorful. We need more Morgans in this world because sometimes it feels like the self-doubt and dullness, monsters are winning. But creativity always finds a way. Thank you. Okay. So, hello. Okay, so I'm gonna go into vulnerability caverns with you to share quickly my own story, my own Morgan Burrito cook, chef, artist story with butts. Okay, so hopefully you're okay with butts. Okay, apparently I needed to click. So, because, well, butts are perfect, and we all love butts. So I've been a designer for over 25 years now. Yeah, I'm old. And when I started doing design, I thought, well, dude, this is, I don't know if you found this, but this is the coolest job ever. They paid you for doing the stuff I would have done just for free. And why free? Because, I don't know, it's challenging, it's fun, it's cool. That's what design has always meant for me. We use, I don't know, like I don't know if this is what happened. I don't know if this has changed. I have seen that this has changed, but we used to be like the cool kids in the group. Right? Sometimes we still are, right? But sometimes it seems like we're not. I don't know. And that for me lasted for around 12 years. Whew. I did illustrations, posters for punk shows, raves, websites for bands, Flash animations. Who here used Flash? Okay, a couple. Hey, yeah. Okay, I see the old people here. So everything was animated back then. But then, I don't know. Then I moved to San Francisco and I started working as a UX designer. And when I got the job, I didn't even know what UX was. I had to Google it. I had no experience doing that. But I had done so many posters. I had done WordPress sites. I had done Flash sites. I was like, dude, I know it all. So, but I didn't know anything. And I don't know. I was lucky. They gave me an opportunity. And seriously, when I saw that what UX design was, I was like, dude, this is just a bunch of boxes and arrows. It's going to be easy. So, well, I realized, it's not just going to be boxes. They're not going to be just arrows. There's diagrams and post-its and journey maps. And I got excited. This is going to be cool. I can draw it like a treasure hunt, maybe. You know, has anyone done that? Like all these flows and stuff, we've done it as a treasure hunt with mountains and stuff? No, I'm the only one. Okay, cool. With islands and mountains and rivers and forests, yeah, okay, no. But then I realized that wasn't it. Then we're gonna do personas. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna get to draw some portraits, some characters, some illustrations. This is gonna be fun. But then, no, this is something else. And slowly, I don't know, I realized that my artistic side was being crushed. And I started to learn that as an artist, I would not be able to be taken seriously, in at least where I was, in Silicon Valley in those times. I was giving presentations to all the VPs and all the CEOs and all the CFOs and all the other O's. And if I wanted to be listened, I will have to kill the artist. But that was my fault. I didn't trust myself as much. I started to believe in them and that art is not to be taken seriously. You know what? I have a conspiracy theory, and I think we're all brainwashed when we're growing up. A lot of us were taught to play it safe and not break the rules. The industrial system tells us to always follow the recipe, and this can make it hard for us to believe in our own creativity. And as UX designers, we're constantly told to think outside the box. Hey, think outside the box, be innovative. But how can we do that if we're too busy following the status quo? So I believe in breaking free from those beliefs and tapping into that side that I'm pretty sure is in all of us, into that inner artist. And I know some of you are thinking, but Pablo, I'm not creative, I'm not an artist, I can draw more than a stick figure. And I will say, hey, well, a stick figure is the foundation of a beautiful composition. We've all done that to some people. And some people are just naturally creative and others aren't. But we have all said that to ourselves. Oh, those are the creative people. Those are the ones who can draw. They're the real creatives. That's a lie. You see, creativity is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. It's all about practice. And the best part is experimenting, making mistakes, messing up, making a fool of yourselves, like me right now, making things explode. That's what it's all about. And no, creativity is not just about painting or drawing. It's not. It can be anything from writing, music, dancing, problem solving. I don't think we should limit ourselves, and we should find what resonates with us. So that idea that innate, intrinsic creativity, that we are born with creativity, that's a myth. Creativity is not something you're born with. It's something you have to develop over time, and you have to believe in it. Now, I know that some of you still don't believe me because you're all feeling something I also felt when I moved to San Francisco, when I was there and with these type of people and started working at all these startups. I was struck by how incredibly smart and talented everyone seemed. And I couldn't help but feel like a fraud. I was like, I don't belong here. It was only a matter of time before they realized, I don't know what am I doing here, right? So I was an artist trying to fit into a business people world. And I felt like I had to hide my artistic side in order to fit in and be taken seriously. But now I realize that was a mistake. Only until I started embracing my artistic side, I was able to truly make a meaningful contribution to the team. I found that my background as an artist actually gave me an edge and helped me to think differently and solve problems in a unique way. And here's the thing. I mean, we all know this, imposter syndrome. The imposter syndrome is just a common feeling among all of us, and not just artists, but everyone. It's a club. And you know what? Everyone's a member. Everyone's invited. Still to this day, I feel like an imposter. I'm currently a CEO. Yes, I'm a CEO. Oh my God. I talk to VCs and investors and other CEOs where it's like a club of like founders and stuff. They all, some of them, they think too much of themselves. But I also, like, I'm there and I have no freaking idea what I'm doing. But I also have to play this role, this act of the captain of the ship, because I need to, and my team needs me to become this captain, and we're all sailing to the unknown. But sometimes I feel like I'm just a drunk pirate, and no one should listen to my direction. But hey, we all feel this way at some point. Even famous artists like Picasso, like Van Gogh, felt like imposters at some point in their lives. So hey, you're in good company. When you create art, you're giving a gift to the world, a unique perspective, a new way of seeing things, a moment of beauty and inspiration. And it requires being vulnerable and open to create. You must be willing to share your thoughts, your feelings, and ideas with others, even if they're not fully formed or polished, like all of these illustrations. Even knowing that you might just suck and fail, like that. I don't know, that takes courage. And I invite us all to be brave and remind us all that, hey, you're all artists. To be an artist, you just have to make a choice. I am an artist now. Creativity is an act. It's not something you're born with. It's you decide to be an artist. Everyone can be an artist. You just need to say, I want to make art. Start creating and let your inner artist grow. So my friends, that's it. We're all capable of being creative and embracing that side. We all have the ability to bring beauty, color, and meaning to the world around us. And as UX, UI, service designers, product designers, we often get caught up in the mechanics of design, the user flows, the wireframes. But design is not just about functionality. It's also about emotion and craft. And being an artist is not just doodles either. It's about being passionate, daring, challenging the status quo. It's about taking risks and expressing yourself in ways that are unique. So I invite you here, being very, very vulnerable right now, to go out there and paint the world in multicolor. So, thank you. And go fill the world with...
Wow. Thank you. Wow, Pablo, that was really beautiful. Thank you for that inspiration. Anyone has a comment? I don't know if there's questions here. Okay, go for it.
So again, thank you so much for the presentation. I wish if I had my kid for the first part of the presentation was a story. I have a question. So we are all artists, but we, at the same time, we are all working with the business rules and the technical requirements, technical limitations. So from your career, what is the soft point? How did you manage to balance that, what the business needs and what the artist needs at the same time?
Yeah? Okay. Sorry. How do I balance that thing? I surround myself of people who like doing that stuff. I surround myself of people who just love that stuff, and I learn from them, I listen to them, and I let them, and I give them the autonomy and the power to do those kinds of things. How do I understand that some of those things are not my strength. I'm supposed to be there, and I'm supposed to make some of these decisions, but I listen to my team. So I understand where I'm limited, and I trust my team to help me on those limitations. Now, yeah, I need to also play the role, and I need to go play golf sometimes. I don't know how to, but I'm there. And I don't know. Also, I don't limit myself to say like, no, I'm just an artist, punk rock dude. I don't do that stuff. No, I embrace that side too. And that side is usually also where I find a lot of vulnerability. So yeah, I'm there too. I try to do it, and it's also because of my team. They trust me too. So I gotta be there.
So then I will ask the second question. So how many times did you practice that presentation?
Did I practice? Yep. No, dude. So this is new. I never presented this. This is just like, I was just finishing it right now.
Wow,
so,
that's great. I saw him do it. He was sitting here like, finishing it up. Yeah. So that's great.
Yeah, and thanks again for the tech people and for being so patient with me, because they were doing it a different way, and they find a way to put a cable. So thank you. Seriously, thank you. Yes. Thank you. Hey, everyone in the staff and everyone, it's just like so cool. Thank you.
I want to ask you a question. So since we saw this morning, we were talking about AI.
Yeah.
How does that relate to the creativity in us? Because it seems like it's going down in a very bad way for creative people, or maybe not. Perhaps you have a perspective.
So yeah, the robots, I like to call it the little robots. Whenever I say the little robots, I mean AI, LLMs, diffusion models, all that stuff. Little robots. And I try to imagine them like that, little baby robots that are just really smart, but they're all chaos. They're really chaotic. So the thing is that they're like kids, and they're really good at everything. Right? They're good at writing. They're good. They've gotten really good at what we thought was uniquely human, creativity. We're like, oh, creativity. That's our thing. The robots will never get it. And then suddenly, oh my God, they can draw. So I think I'm a techno optimist, and I'm someone who believes in the opportunities of this technology, and I believe in the capabilities of us humans to adapt. So I do believe that our roles as designers, all roles as creatives is changing, and will change dramatically. I don't think it's going to be over. I just think it's going to be different. So some argue that craft will go away. Why? Because craft is one of the things that these things are really good at. But they're not really good at that only. They're really good at also, I don't know, like for example, let's break it into like how movies are made, really simplistic, pre-production, production, and post-production. Pre-production, you write everything, you do the casting. Production, you record it, you do the lighting and everything, you do the actual acting and all that stuff. And the post-production, you add all the details, you edit it, you cut it, and you put it out there for the world, right? So right now, we have whenever we design products, whenever we want to ship something, we do something like that. We call it the design system or whatever, the design process or whatever. But it's very similar, right? It's pre-production, production, post-production. And right now, these things can help us on any of those stages. But let's say that, at least for now, our timelines are still the same. Maybe you need a month and a half to finish something and to ship something. And, well, you usually try to divide those 3 stages and fit them in that month and a half. And most of the times, some of you, some people really take a lot of pleasure in doing all of that research and all of that investigation and all those tests. So they might take from that month and a half, maybe 3 weeks just doing the first part. And then the production and the post-production doesn't get a lot of time, right? Oh shit, we spent a lot of time just planning this. So I think some people actually kind of skip that stuff and spend more time on the production, because they like pushing the pixels. It sometimes gets minimized, and actually pushing the pixels is something that I find really beautiful. So they like pushing the pixels, they like the craft. And some people love the post-production, adding animations, adding all the details, all those things that sometimes, usually, we don't have time to do those things. And we have to ship it with all those things that are like, man, if I had only added that hover effect. Now we have the time. We can actually delegate a lot of the things that we will not like to do to these little robots, and actually allow us to do those things that we will want to do, give ourselves more time for those things. So these things are great at everything. I would say that maybe not so good at the last part. They're not so good at the little details. So maybe that's an opportunity. Like, if you like the craft, hey, just delegate some of that ideation to the robots. All of that brainstorming to the robots. They're really good at that. Hey, if you don't like the craft, you don't have that ability, and you really loved all the ideation, all that stuff, all the strategy, then give yourself more time on that and just allow the robots to do all of that templates and all of that stuff, where it's like, hey, it's going to do a good job on the production. So then suddenly, instead of taking 3 weeks for the production, now it can only be 1 week because I have the help of the little robots. So I want to think that's how we're going to be using these things, as creative partners who suddenly free us from the things that we didn't want to do, so we can spend more time on the things that make us happy, that make us feel more involved in our projects. And so they're really good at everything. So it's up to us, like, on deciding what kinds of tasks we give them.
Do you think there is value to continue to study this craft, to study art, to study, how does that come?
The question is, are people still going to study craft?
Or there's value in this, studying, or?
I don't know, man.
It's tough.
Honestly,
we spend so much.
I want to be optimistic, and I mean, I'm an artist too. I have all those doodles. I've made them by hand. They're crappy doodles, but I made them, right? 100% organic. I can put there, right? And hey,
great. Okay.
What's that? Thank you, man. That's so nice of you. Thank you. And you know what? AI could have done a really good job on that stuff. They could have done really nice doodles too. But hey, I think you all notice my shitty doodles, and kind of like that too, right? So I think there's a space for everything. There's doing things by hand is going to change, and it's going to be. I mean, even before AI, artists were getting like screwed, right? It's not AI who is screwing the artists. It has been capitalism for over decades. It's not AI who's suddenly like cheating on the artists. No, it's been forever. It's been like that. Now this is just, it hit the accelerator on it. And that's
a good point, yeah.
I think hopefully these things actually liberate us. I'm a techno-optimist, and I'm like, no, they will liberate us and give us all this time. And now we can do all those creative endeavors and all our hobbies that we really wanted to do, and we don't have to work so much. I know that that's an utopia that is really naive to even think of that, but I want to think that maybe we can work on that. All of you, you're designers, you're creators, you're the ones, you have a seat at the table at these companies. You got it. You've been working for years to get it, and now you got it, now do something. Now actually be the ones who raises their voices and is like, hey, that's not cool, let's not do that. You should be doing that, and you should be using that power now that you have that seat.
Okay, so maybe one more from me.
Yes.
Now that you are a CEO,
oh, yeah.
Yes, so how do you foster creativity in your own company with people you work with? What's the secret?
I think it's one of those things where you give people trust, autonomy, and authority. You give them the ability to make decisions on the things that they truly believe in, and that usually is that autonomy and that feeling like I own this that drives people to be creative. And it doesn't have to be creative in the, I don't know, that sense of the worth of artistic or anything. No, creative as in like, hey, how can we grow our business? How can we grow this number a little bit more and put, how can we put more content out there? How can we get more creators to talk about us? Like all that stuff, like suddenly they are able to really find solutions to those things when they have that autonomy and that trust in them. So I try to give that trust, and sometimes it's hard because I'm also there, and I'm like, but I have to stop myself and say like, hey, let go. So I think when people are allowed to do stuff, they will take that ownership and do crazy cool stuff.
They will be proud of that, what they did too.
Yeah. And also just like, hey, I know it sounds cliche, but the whole idea of allowing people to make mistakes and know they have to know that it's okay to make a mistake and they have to learn, and there's no shame. And it's hard to create that culture because we bring a lot of stuff from our families, from school, from other places that we have worked where making a mistake, failing is shameful. And they bring that here, and then suddenly it's hard for them to change that chip and say, oh, okay, now I can make a mistake. It's hard to change that OS that they have been installing updates for years on, just like, don't make a mistake, don't make a mistake. And so, yeah, sometimes it's just like trying to do a hard reset on people, and it's hard.
That's why it's really important to foster this place where you feel comfortable. You feel
yeah. And you do it by, I mean, I'm here sharing the fucking doodles, and I do that with my team. You try to also be vulnerable. If you want them to be vulnerable, you try to be vulnerable, and you try to be, I don't know, do crazy stuff, and then they'll feel more comfortable doing that too.
Okay, so one more question from here, and then we have the networking game, so please guys stay, but one more question for you.
Thank you so much for endlessly delightful presentation. So it touched a very soft spot in my heart, which is called Flash. Flash was just a delightful thing. It's the tool and distribution, and I felt that the web was much more wild and much more creative, and like people could make games in like a minute, and it was just crazy fun. Do you think that like the people that are growing up now, they're missing some sort of like this creative distribution component, or is there anything to fill that Flash-shaped hole in my heart?
Have you used AI to create shit? Dude, like, I don't know, like, have you seen kids using AI to code and creating Harry Potter websites and Pokemon apps but just talking to the robots and, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? I feel like that's the new Flash, the new way in which people are using. We tend to say like, oh, dude, AI is killing creativity. No, have you seen the kids? They're doing amazing crap with these things, and they don't feel it like something they're being stopped or anything. It's the opposite. For them, they suddenly see all the possibilities of all the things that they can do. So I think we should give those tools to kids and see what they do, and they will go crazy with that stuff. So AI can be for a lot of younger generations. I think it's their Flash, and it's not wrong to also use it that way.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Fabio.
Thank you, man. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, and thank you, Vinted, for hosting us. People, if you want to stay, please, there's a networking game. We're going to meet people. We're going to network. We're going to grow as professionals. How fun is that? And it's actually very, very nice. People stay, and it's really cool. So stay. And again, thank you for coming, and we'll see you next time, if you can stay.